Friday Night Football, presented by Monteith's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Here we go, another edition of Friday Night Football. Tonight we're going to do things a little bit differently.
That's right, we're flipping the rundown and starting north of the state line with a battle of unbeaten teams.
We've got Edwardsburg, the #1 team in the state of Michigan, hosting the third-ranked Three Rivers in our Spotlight Game of the Week. We head to the second quarter. Eddie's already up 16-0, and they keep the scoring attack going. Caden Goggins up the middle on the misdirection to score another touchdown for Edwardsburg. The Eddies signals to go for one, but Edwardsburg always goes for two. This time Trey Harvey fakes it to Goggins and takes it himself. The Eddies take the 24-0 lead. But the Wildcats showed a little life. 2-minute drill for Three Rivers, and Jalen Hevlin drops this pass perfectly to Bryce Morelands deep down the field. That sets up this. Hevlin finds Scott Schrader, who makes the diving snag for the touchdown. Three Rivers gets on the board to make it 24-7, but the Eddies keep their undefeated season alive as they win 38-15. Now, believe it or not, even though the Eddies won by 23, that was actually the least amount of points Edwardsburg has scored this season and the most they've given up.
I have to give some credit to Three Rivers. It's also a good possibility these two teams will meet again in the postseason. Cassopolis also looks to stay undefeated on the season as they take on Hartford early first quarter. The Rangers find the end zone. Asan Hart punches it in from a couple of yards out to give Cassopolis the 7-0 lead. On the Indians' first drive of the game, they face fourth down, but quarterback Moses Barraza pushes his way past the line to gain for the first down. And later in the drive, Hartford going for it again on fourth down, this time at the 10-yard line, and they aren't as successful. That's an incomplete pass by Barraza. Turnover on downs. The very next play, the Rangers take it all the way. Tyrese Hunt Thompson goes full speed ahead as he takes it 90 yards for the touchdown. Cassopolis wins big 57-0. That's their third shutout in a row.
Sticking in Michigan, Buchanan at home to Berrien Springs. We pick things up in the second half. Bucks trailing 20-0, but they pull off the fake punt. Will Grounds tackled well short of the line to gain, and the Shamrocks take over. Buchanan had a couple of penalties that set up Berrien Springs inside the 10, and the Shamrocks take advantage. Nick Nelson hits Anthony Lattin for the touchdown. They go for two to make it 28-0. Bucks are looking for anything on the offensive side of the ball, but Gannon Kootmeyer gets brought down by the big fella. Peyton Dustin with the sack. Everything going Berrien Springs' way. Then on the Shamrocks' next possession, what do you know? They score again. This time it's Chris Patone up the middle for 6. Berrien Springs shuts out Buchanan 38-0.
Back in Indiana, huge battle in the NLC. 7-0 Northwood hosting 6-1 Warsaw, winning claims at least a share of the conference title. We pick up the action at the start of the second half, and the Panthers are literally on a roll, leading Warsaw 14-0. Warsaw's quarterback, Josh West, calls his own number and picks up 5, 10, 15, 20 yards, everything but that last yard. So he's going to try it again here, and this time he gets into the end zone for the touchdown. Warsaw is on the board with 7. Northwood faithful still having faith, but it was put to the test when Josh West rolls to the left and finds Wyatt Amiss, who didn't miss and caught it in the end zone. 14-13 Northwood. 1:40 left in the game. It comes down to the wire. And the Tigers elect to go for the win, go for the 2-point conversion, and they get clobbered in the backfield. Northwood holds on to stay undefeated as they win 14-13 over Warsaw. Now Northwood improves to 8-0 on the season and clinches at least a share of the NLC title.
And they can win the conference outright with a win next week over Plymouth in the season finale. Meanwhile, Northridge hosting Concord tonight. Raiders looking to start a winning streak. We start in the first quarter, no score. That is until Dominic Crowder goes right up the middle, drags a defender into the end zone for the Raider touchdown. Northridge takes the 7-0 lead. Concord, though, answers right back. Carter Neveroski takes the handoff, makes a man miss, and he goes 25 yards to the house to knot things up at 7. The Raiders, though, break off a long touchdown run. Cade Lacey sprinting to pay dirt, but Concord comes back to win this one, 31-21 the final over Northridge. Elsewhere in the NLC, Plymouth knocks off Goshen for their 4th straight win, and Memorial snaps their 4-game skid of beating Wawasee.
We're just halfway through all the action tonight. We haven't even gotten to the NIC yet. So when we get back, highlights from the top games in the conference, including the Kingsmen taking a trip to Rice Field to take on the Blazers.
Now, back to Friday Night Football.
Welcome back, everyone. We changed things up a little bit this week. Started in Michigan and then hit the NLC. Now we get to the NIC.
A bunch of good games from the conference tonight as several teams try to lay their claim to the NIC crown. Let's head on over to Rice Field. The Kingsmen, winners of 4 straight, taking on Elkhart Central. Penn down 10-7 in the second. Ron Powless throws it up to Brock Boynton. Boynton snags it over the defender's head and then takes it in for 6. Boynton doing his best Randy Moss impression. Penn takes the 13-10 lead. Later in the quarter, Isaiah Chandler hits Kyron Pearson, who sheds 2 tacklers. It's a gain of 30, and the Blazers have it inside Penn territory. The very next play, Central goes right back to Pearson. Good for another Blazer first down, but the Penn defense would hold from there. Kingsmen win a close one, 20-17 over Elkhart Central.
Mishawaka tied atop the NIC North with Penn, hoping to keep pace tonight against Marion. Now this is the very first play from scrimmage. Christopher Harness, the senior, bursts through the line, and there's nothing but green grass in front of him. 80 yards to the house on the very first offensive play of the game. Cavemen up 7-0. They were looking to add to that later in the quarter, but Mishawaka muffs the handoff and the ball pops free. Michael Gibson jumps on it and Marion takes over. But on the ensuing drive, the Cavemen defense made its presence felt. Thomas Frayling drops Mitchell Nagy for the sack. Mishawaka wins over Marion 35-17. So with Mishawaka and Penn both winning, that means each team is 7-1 and tied atop the NIC North with just 1 game left in the regular season.
And it just so happens that the game is against each other, Mishawaka and Penn, in the backyard brawl to decide the NIC North. St. Joe has dropped 2 straight, looking to get back in the W column against Culver Academy. Eagles threatening at the end of the first. Eli Pack punches it in from a few yards out, and Culver gets on the board first 7-0 over the Indians. But the Tribe answer right back. Ashton Ruskowski hits Connor Radigan over the middle, and Radigan leaves everyone in the dust. That's a 61-yard pitch and catch for the St. Joe touchdown. They would get the 2-point conversion to take the 8-7 lead. Now 11-7 Indians in the second. Max Miller airs it out down the sideline to Jordan Freeman, who high steps into the end zone for the Culver touchdown. Eagles retake the 14-11 lead, and that would be your final. St. Joe drops their 3rd straight.
Bremen hoping to keep their perfect season alive in their home finale, hosting Jimtown. Before the start of the game, they honored their beloved trainer, Kelly Myers, who passed away suddenly this week, with a moment of silence, balloons, and her monogram in the end zone. Back to football. In the first quarter, Jimtown's Trey Washington gets the ball and makes like a runaway tank and plows through for the touchdown. 7-zip Jimmies. The Lions fans, though, didn't have to wait long before Nathan Mullins does some plowing of his own, and the game is tied, touchdown Bremen. But this game was all Jimmies tonight. Clay Campbell finds Trey Washington on the short pass, and then Washington outruns everyone for the touchdown. In the end, Jimmies win 35-28.
Battle of South Bend, Schools, Adams, and Washington. Both teams call School Field home. Panthers on the move in the second. Jarvis Knight hits Kenyon Grant on the screen pass, and Grant takes off down the sideline. He sets Washington up inside the red zone, but the Adams defense stiffens from there on 4th down. Knight keeps it, gets inside the 15, but not enough for the first down yardage, and the Eagles take over. They march right down the field. Ira Armstead, he's going to rifle this one over the middle, and he finds Jalen Gray, giving Adams the first down inside the 20. A few plays later, Armstead calls his own number, breaking ankles left and right as he prances into the end zone. The Eagles take the 14-0 lead. Adams snaps their 4-game losing streak. They knock off Washington 28-7. Other NIC scores, New Prairie bounces back against Riley 35-13.
And in a battle of winless teams, Glenn finally gets in the W column. They knock off Clay with a 51-0 shutout.